Welcome to the Pyramyd Insider. I'm Tyler Patner. Today we have a brand new offering from Hatsan, the Hydra. Now, before we get into the details of the Hydra, go ahead and give us a like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate it. Keeps us going here on the Insider. Thank you very much for that. Now, talking about the Hydra, this is built basically on that Flash platform. So we see a lot of shared features. The only difference is that you can go ahead and take off that upper half, that barrel action assembly, and swap it out for a different caliber, which is really neat. Now, starting at the front of the Hydra, on all three of your barreled actions, regardless of caliber, you are going to get the QE shroud system on there. So it should provide us a very quiet, backyard-friendly shooting, regardless of the caliber that you choose. And again, fully shrouded, of course, a Hatsan-made rifled barrel underneath that shroud there. And then dropping down to the air cylinder, we have a 165cc air cylinder. It's not going to give us a ton of shots, but what we're looking for is going to be to see how many consistent shots we can get off of a fill. It does come with a fill probe, of course, as all Hatsan guns do, and it is threaded to 1/8 BSPP. So for those of you using a quick disconnect fitting on your fill setup, you're going to need that male fitting there. It's about 10 bucks, just so you know that going in. And thankfully, Hatsan has included a little plug there to go into the end of the cylinder. Love that. Keeps dust and debris out. It's the little things that I love. This is a big one for me, so thank you, Hatsan, for adding that in. That's really great to see. Just slips in there like so. Very easy to work with. And then on the underside of the gun, you're going to have your pressure gauge. Now, it is color-coded. The gun fills to 200 bar, 2,900 PSI, so if you're hand pumping or maybe you don't have a huge tank, certainly a workable pressure range for you. But like I said before, as we know from the Flash and, of course, the Vectis as well, not going to give us the highest of shot counts, but that's all right. These are going to be powerful, and we know that up front. Now, dropping back a little bit, talking about what I will refer to as basically your action for the rest of the video here. Your action is going to be a side bolt operated gun. So what that means is you have your bolt in the forward position, you pull up, back, and you can lock it to the rear to load or remove your magazines, but you don't have to do that to cock the gun. So normal cocking operation would just be up, back, and then back forward again. Very simple to work with, and of course you can decock this as always. You just simply hold the bolt back there, pull the trigger, you kind of heard that snap there, that sear brake, and you are good to go, completely safe at this point. Now, dropping down from our action, from our bolt section there, we do have a manual safety. Thank you for a manual safety, Hatsan. I appreciate it. Not a huge fan of the automatic safety, so manual is nice to see. Just flip it back, goes ahead and renders the trigger safe. Flip it forward, you're hot and ready to go. And speaking of that trigger, we do have the Quattro trigger here. A little heavy out of the box from my feeling. I know I can adjust it down, but we're going to go ahead and run it as it came here out of the box, but do know it is fully adjustable and you can make this trigger very, very nice. Moving on from the Quattro trigger, we do have a Turkish walnut stock. The stock is completely ambidextrous, so raised cheek piece on both sides. You have some texturing on the grip and the forearm on both sides, Hatsan logo on both sides. This stock feels great. I think it looks good as well. The gun comes in at about 7 pounds, shoulders really nicely, even with some high rings on it. I think this is going to be very comfortable for a lot of you out there. Rubber butt pad does appear to have some adjustment to it, which is great to see as well. Now, before we take a look at how to swap calibers on the Hatsan Hydra, kind of the last shared feature you'll notice amongst all of the calibers here as you change things around, you do have an 11mm dovetail Weaver combo rail, so you can mount either or. I prefer the dovetail mounts on these rails though, purely because it's going to give you more room to adjust your mounts, all right? That's really important, I think, in terms of getting the proper eye relief for yourself, getting things set up comfortably. So I'd recommend getting yourself some 11mm dovetail mounts. And of course, you do have your cutout for the magazine as well. 12 rounds in 22 caliber, 10 in 25, and it's 14 in 177. Magazines load into the breech very easily. Stop when you're good. You go ahead, rock that bolt forward, and you are ready to go shooting. It's a really simple system. We've seen it before. Same mags as you see on the Vectis and the Flash, so that's good as well. Now let's talk about swapping calibers. So to go ahead and swap calibers on the Hatsan Hydra, there are going to be a couple things you need in addition to your other barreled assembly here. You're gonna need some lubricant of some kind. I'd highly recommend Ballistol. It's just gonna ease the transition here. I'd also recommend a knife or a box cutter. You're gonna need something to mark with, a marker, either that or a pen. I have a pen here. I'd prefer a marker, honestly. A 6mm Allen key, a Phillips head screwdriver, and a ruler. All of those things are going to be crucial to this next part of the process. In all seriousness, it was just the thumb screw at the back. This is probably the simplest caliber change kind of method I've seen to date. Hatsan's really outdone themselves here. This is really cool. We'll go ahead and show you some of the key features and what's going on the inside of things here. Now you want to make sure that the gun is not cocked or anything when you're going ahead and doing this. So with the bolt in the forward position, that's the important part there on the bottom half of the action, and then you want to make sure that you're lining everything up in your barreled assembly with that bottom half. So a couple important things to note: you do have this O-ring here in the transfer port region. You want to make sure that that O-ring is there. That's really the thing to consider. Make sure the O-ring's in there, because if it falls out, you're going to get a lot of air blowing by. And then you're going to want to go ahead and make sure that your bolt is positioned to the forward spot here. This is as far forward as it will go without it being under tension. So make sure that is forward, and then make sure your screw is loose at the back. That's really all you have to do. The rest of this is quite simple. You're going to go ahead and line that bolt position up into the hole. I don't know if you guys can see that there. I'll go ahead and show you. You want to get it lined up like so. So you're actually going to drop that peg basically into the round hole. It is very, very simple, guys. You're just going to go ahead, get that positioned, and then start screwing in your thumb screw at the back until it's nice and tight. And that's all there is to it. It is that simple to go from a 22 to a 25, or a 25 to a 177, whatever you need to do. It is that quick. Now, personally, I have a question about if I do have a scope on my 22 and another scope on my 25, how accurate is that going to be in terms of holding zero? We're going to go out to the range and test that for you. But right now, we're going to get the 22 back onto here. We're going to go out to the range. We're going to start with the 22. We're going to also work with the 25. We're going to get all of the accuracy done, chronograph number, sound, all that jazz for you out at the range. Let's go see how the Hatsan Hydra performs. So taking our 22 and our 25 caliber barrels in this Hatsan Hydra out to 45 yards right away. Two best pellets in the 22 caliber, the JSB 18-13s and the H&M Barracuda's 5.52 millimeter head size. 0.96, so just under 1 inch here with the JSB 18-13, certainly respectable, good enough to hunt with, but those H&N Barracudas in that 5.52 head size, absolutely fantastic. A 3/4 inch 10-shot group, great grouping there out of the 22 caliber, and then the 25 caliber coming in with even more impressive accuracy here. Again, 45 yards, 10 shots. The JSB 25.4s, a 0.8 inch grouping here. Phenomenal accuracy. Got that upside down. That's right side up for you guys. So again, 0.8 inches, and then under 3/4 of an inch here, 0.7 with the air arms variant of those 25.4. So the air arms fields, that 25.4 was absolutely the sweet spot there in the 25 caliber though. So as we showed you in the studio, very simple to go ahead and take these barrel kits off, and as we test to see if the scope and everything will hold at zero when we take it off and put it back on. I'll remind you, this is a sub 1 inch group here, 10 shots with the JSB 18-13s that we just shot. You see it's just a hair off center, so that's going to be kind of our benchmark for placement here when we take our next 5 shots. But you can see I've loosened up the nut in the back. Just go ahead, pop it right off. It's really simple to do. And we're just going to go ahead and replace it here. Get everything lined up, and then screw it back down. Get our mag loaded into the gun. 5 shots, ready to go. Let's see how this goes. As you guys saw, took the barreled upper receiver with the scope on it off, put it back on for you. So again, just for reference, that's our 10-shot group from before when we did our accuracy testing, and then that's the next 5 after we reinstalled here. So in the same ballpark, maybe not exactly a nice 4 shots in a row, if I do say so myself, but overall, this is going to keep you pretty close. It may not be exact, so always check your zero before you go out into the field or something like that, but for keeping you in the ballpark for target shooting, this system of reinstalling your upper receiver, barreled upper receiver, is going to work just fine. So putting the JSB 18-1-3s over the chronograph out of the Hatsan Hydra with the 22 caliber barrel, because we ran out of H&N Barracudas, of course, 16-shot average of 890 feet per second, which is about 32 foot-pounds of energy, so pretty solid power numbers out of this gun, and a very consistent first 16 shots or so. Standard deviation of just 4.1 feet per second, again unregulated, so that's actually a pretty good result, and an extreme spread on those shots of just 21 feet per second. Very solid results. Swapping over to the 25 caliber barrel with the JSB Exact Kings, got a few more shots that were within a reasonable spread there, so 20 shots on the 25 caliber, around 800 feet per second average, energy right around 36 foot-pounds. So a little anemic on the energy side, but certainly enough for small game. Standard deviation opened up a little bit for us, but not too bad, and an extreme spread of just 28 feet per second. So within those 20 shots there and the 16 shots on 22, those are where you're going to get your best and most consistent results, which are going to lead to great downrange accuracy. Let's run down the Hatsan Hydra here for you guys at home. Overall, very impressed with this offering. Obviously, the caliber interchangeability is fantastic, and I was super impressed by the ease of which you can do that, and also the performance in terms of it retaining zero fairly well. If you leave your scope on one caliber, take it off, and then put it back on later, this thing does a great job of keeping you in that ballpark downrange so that you can just take your 1 or 2 shots to verify your zero and go into the woods or go shoot some targets. That's really awesome to see. Trigger's decent, you know, it's a little heavy in our sample here, but of course we know that's adjustable, so I can't really have a gripe about it there. The QE system does its job keeping this backyard friendly. It's a relatively lightweight, good looking offering from Hatsan. You know, I have no gripes there. Shot count's a little low, but we knew it was going to be with the platform it's built off of going in, but the shots were very consistent for that first mag and a half. So overall, I think the performance out of the Hydra here was very good. And I think for the price point being in that 400 range or so, and then being able to pick up another caliber with mags and everything for, you know, 150 bucks or so, I think this is a great option for those of you looking at an entry level and you're maybe not sure which caliber you want, or you want to do multiple things with one gun. I think this is going to be a fantastic platform for that. So you guys need to check it out next time you're over at PyramydAir.com. We would appreciate it if you'd go ahead, like the video if you liked what you saw today. Comment down below, let us know what you think of the Hydra and what you want to see next time, and don't forget to subscribe. I'm Tyler Patner for The Insider. We'll see you next time.